Well, hello, and welcome, sports peeps, to another episode of Win This Day with LJ and the Coach.
Hello, it's Lee Johnson. I am with my close friend, Coach Steve Sloan, to talk about American Football Mission Leagues.
Yes, exciting.
Yes, it's great we got together on this project.
Yes, it's been a God thing. It's been really cool to see what's happened over the last couple years here, and honestly, for me, the last 40 years, in particular, the last decade that God's kind of been putting some things together for teaching me some stuff and putting all this together. So yeah, I'm excited to sit down and record this and share this vision with the public.
Well, that was one of the first questions I had for you when we first got together. Was like, why are you starting this league, and what drives you to do it? What's driven us to do it?
Yeah, I've always coached. I was coaching high school baseball as an 18-year-old, my first year out of high school. So it's been a long time. I'm 57, so it's been a long time, a lot of years coaching. So am I going to get buzzed for saying like we said?
No, you said you were 57 years old, and they're going to be like these old men.
Oh, I am old. I am. But see, that comes wisdom and knowledge and experience, right? That's what you get with age, or at least that's what I tell myself. So So anyway, in 1996, we started a league with a buddy of mine, Larry Shadd, who's passed away now. He and I saw some things going on in the youth leagues that we didn't really like, so we started our own league. Ground up, he and I put our name on the loan. We went out and did it and built that up, and that program's actually still running today under a different name, but it's continued and it's blossomed and continued to grow. So that desire has always been there. The last few years, been working, started a company called Tackle Tube USA, where we're teaching tackling, and I've traveled the country doing clinics, speaking to coaches, doing player clinics, watching tournaments and different coaching leagues, and seeing how these coaches are, how they're coaching the kids, and honestly was very disturbing on a lot of the stuff that I saw, and I thought, man, we got to do this better. So that's where the idea came to do six-man football, tackle football, with the youth. Six-man football is really big out in Oklahoma, Texas. There's over 100 teams out in Texas, that high schools that play six-man football. So if you think about it, and I can get into this a little bit later, but it's kind of like t-ball in baseball. The six-man game can be just very, very vital for the kids. We can teach them all the same things, but on a smaller scale. So what got me started was, as I was seeing all this stuff happen, and I'm thinking we can definitely do this better. I'm like, I got to start a league. We got to start a league and do this. So that's where that new vision began, and now it's kind of morphed into what we've putting together right now.
I know you have a passion for tackling and teaching it properly, and how did you get that experience again? I mean, to teach these children properly, is that you obviously can't go to school for that, can you?
No, I mean, School of Hard Knocks. I mean, not really school. No, I've been an offensive guy my whole life. I love calling plays. I just, standing on the sidelines calling plays is just a blast. I love picking a defense apart and calling plays. But what happened was, when I had a trucking company for 25 years. When I sold the trucking company, I needed a new job. Well, Tackle Tube came along, and I contacted Glenn Remnant, who's the inventor of Tackle Tube. He's the one that's kind of brought this whole thing to the U.S. Contacted him after I was going to build them myself, but after speaking with him, this guy's a guru. He knows more about tackling than anybody. All the videos I've seen, Australian guys, rugby guys, he knows more about tackling than anybody I've ever met and seen on video. So I wanted to partner with him. So the knowledge that I've obtained and anything I made up, it came from him. He's been able to teach me all these techniques and these things, and it makes a huge difference in the game of football. I've had coaches call me from California, from all over, and say, Steve, we only gave up 12 points all season. Steve, we take our 12-year-olds, and we scrimmage the 14-year-old kids, and they're not scared of them. They just take them big boys down. We haven't had a single head injury all season. Lakeland High School right here in Lakeland, Coach Bill Bedini made a comment on Facebook one time that I saw when someone asked him about, what is tackle tube? And he was talking about the technique and what they've done. They went through a whole spring and had 0 injuries from tackling. Wow. And that's amazing. And he said in all his years of coaching, he's never seen that before. So it's a much safer way of tackling, but it's also a much more efficient way to tackle. So in a day and age where we've got, all the concussions and parents are scared to let their kids play ball because of that, understandably so, this is a way that we can train them and teach them to be a lot safer because we're getting the head out of the tackle. We're teaching them to tackle with the shoulder. In all honesty, it's a more violent tackle, but it's much more efficient and safer on the tackler. So yeah, that's a big push with our program is the high school coaches are going to love us. As we train these kids, when they go into high school and they want to continue playing into high school, they're going to know how to tackle in the open field because 6-man is wide open, and they're going to know how to tackle properly without giving up additional yards after contact.
Well, you keep mentioning 6-man football, so talk about that for a minute and the differences with that. Right.
Now, the 6-man league, the FCAPS league that we have here in Florida, I was a part of for several years. We actually, at Geneva Classical Academy, we actually won the state championship in 2016. We have adjusted the rules a little bit in Florida compared to Texas, Oklahoma. 6-man football, every player is eligible. Everybody can go out for a pass. Everybody can run the ball. Texas, Oklahoma 6-man rules, the quarterback can't run unless he hands the ball off. In Florida, a few years ago, we adjusted the rules to allow the quarterback to run with the ball, but he has to take a shotgun snap 3 yards back, to be allowed to run. If he's under center, he still has to hand off. That opened up the game a little bit more. We went back to 1st and 10 instead of 1st and 15, which is what Oklahoma and Texas does. So by doing that, it just, we have games that are sometimes 60-40, 80-70. I mean, we have a lot of high-scoring games, which is the kids love it. The parents love it. The fans love it. It's just a fun game. The other cool thing about it is if I want to bring everybody in tight, you have to have at least 3 on the line and 3 in the backfield. You could have all 5 on the line. We don't have that rule. But I can bring everybody in tight, or I can spread out and go wide open. So we can work on lineman stuff in tight blocking with running backs. We can spread everybody out, and it's all a big passing game or running game. We can run option. I mean, there's nothing in 11-man that we really can't do. We can do the option read. All of those things that you can do in 11-man, we can do in 6-man.
So that's a good point. So I'm sure parents would want to know. I mean, will that prepare them for moving up to like an 11-man?
Absolutely.
It does.
Yeah, absolutely. In particular, the skill positions in particular, because everything's so wide open, you're going to get a lot of one-on-one coverage. So that, those individual skill sets are really good. Depending on, and of course it depends on the players that you have, right? If you get some larger kids to play, that's when you can pack it in and run the ball. And now you're teaching offensive linemen's skills the same way. So, yeah, it definitely transfers to 11-man very, very, very easily.
So, speaking of that with size, how much safer is that?
Well, football is football, right? So there's always contact. There's always that chance of injury no matter what you do. I mean, guys can, you fall. My son fell going 2 miles an hour on a snowboard and broke his wrist when he was 10 years old. I mean, you can fall and do those things happen. But as far as a safety, we do play on a smaller field. That limits it a little bit. We don't have, and in our league, with the youth league, we're actually going to eliminate the kickoffs and things. Some of the special team stuff is where a lot of injuries happen, so we're going to eliminate that. We're going to actually have the coach on the field with the players. That helps speed things up. And when you go to the line of scrimmage, and I'm getting off topic a little bit, but when you go to the line of scrimmage with confidence, because that that coach is telling you what to do, that also helps eliminate injuries, because if you don't know what you're doing and you're just kind of blindly in a play and you get blindsided, you're going to get hurt. So there are some things there, but as far as for me to tell you, is it safer than 11-man? I think there are some aspects that are safer, but what really makes it safe is the way we're teaching hitting, the way we're teaching tackling, and the way we're going to train our coaches to coach is what makes it safer.
Well, you mentioned something about confidence. So I know in a lot of leagues, there's this driven thing to win, and unfortunately some children don't get to play as often, or they don't have the confidence to come out because they don't think they're going to perform and they're going to be ridiculed or made fun of. How do you address things like that in your league? Obviously, you're trying to build the spirit of these people, these children up. How's that working in our league?
Well, that's one of the things that drives us to do this too. We've got rosters of 10 to 12, 10 to 13 players instead of a roster of 25, 28. One of our rules is when you've got 6 on the field, let's just say it's the offense and they score, they finish their extra point. If you've got 4 on the bench, when you come out to play defense, those 4 have to go start. If you compare it to like say a Pop Warner, for instance, Pop Warner's a great organization, been around for a while. They have rules that say every player has to play, and I don't remember the exact number. I believe it's 8 plays. So every player has to play at least 8 plays, and that may be a little bit different with the quarters and things. I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure that's what it is. In our situation, everybody's playing. When you've only got 10 to 12 on a roster, everybody's got to play because you're going to be tired. Everybody's got to play. We always want that best 2, 3, 4 players going both ways all the time. In our league, we're forcing you to rotate those kids around so everybody gets playing time. Consequently, because of that, you're going to get better as a player. If you're sitting on the bench, you're not getting any better as a player, because what happens in a lot of youth leagues when you've got 28 kids on a team, even in practice, and they've got 22 out there scrimmaging, there's still kids on the sidelines not doing anything. Well, when we're practicing, every player is doing something. It's designed to make everybody better.
What are the age groups of these children, kids that are coming out and playing?
And when we first get started with a league, in a new league, we're going to go from age 7 to 12. So we'll have a 7, 8-year-old league, 9, 10, and 11 and 12. The following year we'll add 13, 14, and then eventually we may add 5, 6-year-olds. I'm still toying with that idea. I kind of want them to get a little bit more mature. When you got somebody running at you ready to hit you, I kind of want them to get just at least a 7.
Okay. And so how many games are typically played during the season for them?
Yeah, we're actually going to look at 2 seasons. Our fall season, which is our traditional season that will start in July through, will be finished before Thanksgiving. We'll run a 10-game league, and then we'll have either a quick form of a playoff or a bowl game. It actually depends on how many leagues we have across the city, that if there are some other teams that we can play. It's designed to be a self-contained league, to have 4 teams in each league.
What about tournaments? Do you end up doing that?
Actually, no, because nobody else is playing this game. Okay, there's no other. This is brand new. There's no other teams doing 6-man. It's just us. There is some modified teams out there playing 7-man or 8-man. The 6-man game's completely different because everybody's eligible. So, and there's not anybody else out there for us to compete with. So this is going to come from our growth as an organization and creating new pods and new leagues to help grow the 6-man game.
And traveling?
With our first league being in Lakeland, we won't travel. We'll be playing just in Lakeland.
Okay.
Now, if we get, we're talking to 2 different organizations about starting a league in Lakeland. So let's just say we have all 3 leagues going. We're still going to play within ourselves, but then we may travel once or twice a year.
Okay.
But not a lot of travel. I want to try to maintain it as close to the vest as we can.
And what about recognition or trophies or awards for standing out? Do you do them, or is there a reason not to do them?
Well, I guess there's two sides to that. You want to always encourage kids. You always want to let them know, they've done a good job. And us as coaches, we need to be doing that every day anyway. As far as handing out these big trophies, a participation trophy, I am of the mindset I like to make it a little bit more meaningful than that if we do something like that. We'll give T-shirts. We'll do some different stuff for everybody like that. But when it comes to, the offensive player of the year or the defensive player of the year or the Heisman Award winner of our league or whatever, we might do something individual like that, because I always want to set a goal for these kids to go to, for these kids to obtain. I don't want them to just get a participation trophy. It's not about that. And we're not all about winning. We're about helping the kids. We're about growing men and growing women. We want to teach them the game of football. We want to teach them the game of life. In life, you don't always get a participation trophy. If you show up for work, you get a check, but if you don't work, you don't get a check. So we want to encourage it that way.
And you and I have, we've been talking about, different leagues. The name obviously is leagues, plural, because, we want to offer different sports for different folks, right? I mean, can you talk about that a little bit and, how that would work?
Yeah, right now we're focusing obviously on football. The location in Lakeland, we're going to have an opportunity to have wrestling. We're going to have an opportunity to have, we have a gym available to us, so we can do volleyball, basketball, so we can do some different sports with the same structure of what we're doing in football.
Okay. And you and I have been talking about people wanting to sponsor this, or support us. And we've talked about, some of the reasons why. And I know you and I have discussed, getting involved in younger people's life, to start mentoring them, really, right? To build character. What are some of the other traits that will, not just, obviously the sports, we're going to be doing that and have an opportunity to do that, but talk about just for a moment the parents. I mean, what we would be doing with them and some of the mentorship outside of even the football that we could potentially bring in for them.
Yeah. And a while ago, I didn't finish. We talked about the fall league. We also are going to run a spring league, March, April.
Okay.
March, April, May, a shorter league. That'd be like a 6-game league. But this is a year-round program. We're not just, and it's not just football. We want to teach life skills. A lot of different things that you can think of, from working with PVC pipe, how to use the glue on a PVC pipe, how to check the air in the tires, how to change the oil in the lawnmower. We may bring in a nurse, a doctor, a mechanic. We want to expose the kids to all of these different things. Starting a grill, how to cook. And we'll do cooking classes. So we're going to have a year-round program where we're teaching life skills, not just for the kids, but we'll also do some things for the parents. One of the biggest problems we have in a lot of the areas that we're looking at are lower income areas. So, and a lot of parents in those situations, a lot of families don't even really understand how money works. Well, that's one of the things we want to do, is we want to teach them how money works, to try to get them off of that debt cycle and to try to get them ahead financially. And it just takes a little bit of knowledge. So where we're at in Lakeland, we've got the classroom space. We've got space where we can do some things, not just with the kids, but also with the parents if they're interested.
So that obviously gives the folks in Lakeland the opportunity to really make an impact with these kids, sponsoring or supporting it.
Yeah, so I would tell, a sponsor I've knocked on many doors and I've talked to many people over the years and raised a lot of money for football programs, okay? This is way more than a football program. We're trying to make a difference, not just, and I believe football has a big impact on your life, okay? Coaches have a big impact on your life. There's a lot of statistics out there that'll tell you a coach is the biggest influence on a student's life. But we're more than just football. The life skills, the things that we're going to be teaching, that's what you're investing in. You're investing in the future. You're not just investing in a football team. You're investing in a program that is geared to invest in the children and invest in a family's life.
Well, Coach Steve and I are extremely excited to be part of this community and bring folks in to start working with their children and hopefully make a big difference in their life. And I'm very excited to be working with you, Steve. It's going to be a lot of fun. You and I are extremely close, and we have a passion to really get out and help the community. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah,
and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of it. I'm very thankful for it.
Believe me, it's a great blessing to have you and John both being a part of what we're doing and helping us out, because I can get to a certain part, but I got to have help to do the rest of it. And you guys are just vital and key to that. And God has definitely opened some doors and brought us together in a very unique way. And we have gifts in different areas that we really can complement each other. And it's just really exciting to see what God's going to do with this and how he's going to grow it. And we'll give him the glory and the praise and the honor for all that he's doing.
Absolutely, absolutely.